This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. Do you still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
All right, welcome back to the Pages Dynasty podcast, week 16 of the 2003 season. Can't believe we've made it this far. Like, that's a lot of games to watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched all of them, but
I have. I think I have watched every single. I think I'm the only one who's watched every single one of these games.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Some of them I wouldn't do again. There have been some Dolphins games that we probably should have skipped, but that's not what we do here. And
no,
somebody,
not what you do here. I do that. I didn't watch that game.
And Greg also.
Yeah, Greg does that all the
he's
time.
actually the worst. He also skips full episodes that just doesn't even show up, which is what's happening tonight. But we actually have a special guest tonight, and it is somebody who we've talked about before because they sent a text to the Dynasty Hotline. Steve, what's the number?
603, because we're from New Hampshire.
Correct.
505.
Okay.
And then obviously the last part's easy. The Troy Brown for 3.
603 505 8043. So welcome to the podcast, Tarek.
Yes.
How are you, bud?
Great. Thank you for having me on. I want to say I'm a big fan. I've listened to every episode, believe it or not.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
No, it's true. I have a half-hour commute, so like I can get through basically an episode and a half on 2 drives to and from work. So,
hell yeah!
And I also love the Patriots, and I love, like I was telling Andy earlier, that like I love looking at player stats from like the 80s, 90s, and stuff. I'm kind of a stat head myself. Like, just love it all, really. So,
all right,
I understand.
I have so many questions.
Yeah,
I really do. Because I legit thought Andy was lying until like just when I saw your face. And honestly, you could be just some dude he hired. I don't know. I wouldn't put that above Andy, but we'll
We'll see if I got my money's worth.
Yeah, right.
How did you find out?
I was mostly because, like I was saying, half-hour commute to work nowadays. Started a new job in July. I was originally I grew up in Maine, and I just moved to Massachusetts in July.
Oh, nice.
So I was looking for a podcast to listen to on those like longer-ish commutes. And I stumbled upon it, and I was just like, this is awesome. Going all the way from like 2001, probably dating myself, but like I was 10 years old when the 2001 season started. So that was like the pinnacle of like me starting to become a fan of New England sports, and especially the Patriots. So I was hooked. Yeah. Had all the Super Bowl highlight DVDs from like 2001, 3, and 4, and even to now.
3 games of glory.
Exactly. And I rewatched them over and over.
Christmas, baby.
Yeah, we did. We used to get those for Christmas. One of us would get them from Santa Claus.
It was a gift to all of us.
It was. It absolutely was.
Thanks, Santa.
Yeah, those were great.
All right. So did you listen to the first episode first, or did you jump in? And you listened to that one, you said, you know what? I should listen to more of these.
He's the one. He's the only one.
Yeah, right?
Him and Mom.
I was just sort of intrigued at first with the first episode. I was like, okay, they're going to just like kind of like touch on this and then like kind of move on about like the Dynasty at whole. And I was like, nope, it's the whole game. So, but I ended up enjoying that still. And you guys kind of go in depth sometime with some of the things I kind of forgot from those games. So
yeah, that's kind of the reason I started this was because for the website I was going back and like pulling highlight clips from all the games. Yeah, and I'd be pulling like Tom Brady touchdown pass. I have to go through like every game and just pull those couple of plays. And as I'm doing that, I'm watching some of like the plays in these games. I'm thinking, this game is great. Why don't I remember it?
Right.
It's like random Thursday night Jets games where the game ends in a brawl and shit like that. I'm like, I don't remember. This is fantastic. So it took me forever to convince the brothers that it was as good idea as I thought.
I said, yes, Andy. It took you 2 fucking minutes. Like, hey, do you want it? Greg doesn't know. I was like, all right, sure. You already have the microphone. I don't have to do shit. All right. Mistake, though. God, should have thought that through.
Yeah, you should have.
Because here we are.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of notes about this game, including a request for you on your website.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll be able to solve it, but maybe your friend from Reddit can.
Challenge accepted. Okay.
All right.
So yes, we should get into this game because this was one of those games where I'd forgotten about, and it's one of those games that I think you can also name as well.
Yes.
This is
I'd never put 2 and 2 together.
Me neither. I didn't realize this was a Patriots game, but this is the Kissing Susie Colbert game.
Right.
Which
I knew about that happening. I didn't realize it was this game until
that is the all-time greatest sideline interview ever, and ever will be,
hands down.
Well, maybe not ever will be. People are crazy, but definitely ever in any sport.
Name a more memorable sideline moment. The only one I can think of is that guy. He was like a Monday night game, and he was in the Broncos. The Broncos were playing, and the guy was supposed to interview the head coach, whoever it was at the time.
See, the fact that it's taking you so long to even say this or remember it means no, because you can just say, "I want to kiss you," and everyone knows exactly what game we're talking about.
It's true. But he was like, he's having the time of his life. And the guy was like, let's get
right to it, because it was ESPN's 200th broadcast. So they had all sorts of cool actual like highlights from all the different primetime games they'd done.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too.
They had
there was some huge games that happened. Well, it was just it was the ESPN's 200th NFL game that they had broadcast, and they put up a poll: what was the greatest feat in an ESPN NFL game? Which, it's like, okay, cool, but it was, the options were Sean Alexander scoring 5 touchdowns and a half, fucking bananas. Flipper Anderson setting the all-time receiving yards in a game record with like
336. Is that still stand?
Yeah,
I think
it does.
Oh, is it really?
I'm pretty sure he still has it, because that's one of those like trivia questions that nobody gets right. Because who the fuck is Flipper Anderson?
I thought Calvin Johnson might have gotten close. Maybe he just got close.
I think he's probably second. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Stat check.
You're right. It is. Calvin Johnson's 329, 336. He wasn't even that close.
Right. And then Derek Thomas had a 6-sack game, which wasn't his best. Peyton Manning threw 6 touchdowns in this season, earlier in the season against the Saints, and then something to do with Jerry Rice. But Sean Alexander won the fan vote.
All right, but let's give the people what they want. They want the "I want to kiss you." Let's not even tease it out. Let's just go right for it.
All right, so we're not even gonna
listen to
tease it. So all right, here you go.
Because I have thoughts on it.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling. What we know is we can improve. Chad Pennington, our quarterback, missed the first part of the season, and we struggled. We're looking to next season. We're looking to make a noise now, and I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe. I'll take that as a huge compliment.
You know
Joe Namath, part of the 4-decade.
Struggling. You.
Thanks, Joe. I'll take that as a huge compliment.
You know
Joe.
I wish if anyone worked out what he says as she's talking over him, because there's probably gold in there too.
I listened to it a bunch of different times. As you can see, I have it queued up and I can go back but I couldn't quite catch it. It's just too much other noise.
Too much going on. I know, but someone somewhere has figured that out, which find that, because I would love to know that.
Yeah.
And like the first one, somewhat debatable. You're like, shucks, that's not like, I don't have any concerns about him at all.
He comes back to it though.
Yeah. And then my favorite part.
Like he was going in for a kiss though. He definitely leaned in like,
oh yeah.
Real close.
Yeah. It could be loud there. Maybe he just couldn't hear the question.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, when he doubled down, then never mind. He's just being weird. He's drunk as shit.
Absolutely.
And then the announcers, one of them was like, Joe is just a happy guy. One of them says under his breath, "Oh boy, is he happy."
It was so awkward when they went back to the booth.
Yeah.
Gotta say, you gotta hand it to Susie, though. She was a consummate professional there. Like, she handled that problem.
She's a pro's pro.
Oh, God, yeah.
Unfortunately for her, I'm sure it's not the first time some drunk dude on the sidelines hit on her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just not usually a drunk Joe Namath.
Yeah, it's just really not the guy you're interviewing for the ESPN's 200th thing. And you're like,
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Also, on that poll, they really fucked up because they should have put that, because that's probably the most important thing ESPN's ever broadcast, right?
It is now.
What is the highlight of an ESPN primetime broadcast? It's "I want to kiss you, Susie."
It's that. Yeah.
Well, that was my best from this game. So
yeah. I think it's all of our bests. It's
Oh man.
Unanimous.
All right, you want to give it a watchability score outside?
Oh yeah,
Joe.
Outside of Joe. Out of 6 Lombardis, I will give this like a 2. The game itself wasn't. I'll go 3 actually, only because Chad Pennington threw 5 interceptions, and that was fun to watch. The same Chad Pennington who came into the league with the best touchdown to interception ratio.
I am going to give it 4.
Wow.
They're 4.
Wow.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Going for me. Had fuck the Jets.
Fair.
5 Pennington INTs, even though I sneaky like Pennington.
Yep. Agreed.
Fucking classic moment that you get to rewatch in its entirety of just the cringe. Cringe. It's just when you're watching it real time too. There's been so much build to it. Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's true.
And then my boy David Givens balled out too. 2 TDs. And a sweet special teams tackle.
Yeah.
I was also going to give it a 3, mostly because all the big names that you think of when you think of the early Patriot Dynasty defensive players all showed out in this game.
That's true, yeah.
Vrabel had a couple of sacks. Willie McGinnis played amazing. Ty Law, INT. Ronnie Harrison had INT.
Limping around out there too.
Textbook, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically everybody that you think of made it at least 1 or 2 outstanding plays in that game.
That's
even
true,
yeah. Dante Samuel, I think, had a awesome pass
pick.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. Yeah, I think.
Is there anyone who didn't really? Maybe Richard. But he still played. I don't know. He was in on a couple of sacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he almost had that pick as well.
Yeah.
There was definitely a game plan for this where you could tell the Patriots had practiced jumping slant routes, and linebackers, and just jumping up and trying to knock them down, and they intercepted almost every single one. But every single interception was, almost every was by a linebacker batting the ball straight up in the air and catching it himself, which Bruschi did on the first pass of the game.
Yes.
And then McGinnis did the exact same thing for a pick 6. And then Richard Seymour did and almost had his own pick from the nose tackle position. It's ridiculous. But
it was batted up to himself sort of thing, though. That was an incredible play by him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're watching peak. This is peak Willie McGinnis right now.
Oh, yeah. It really is. And he almost had the exact same play last week where he dropped in coverage and almost made the exact same snag, but he couldn't hang on to it. But he caught this one and rumbled for a touchdown. Do you see his little head fake at the goal line, though?
Dude, that was good. That
on
was
Chad Pennington.
That was my best. He's going to the goal line. Pennington's coming from. Pennington can't tackle him, so why just run through it? But whatever. He gives him the head fake to just fucking juke him out of his shoes. And
Pennington's like, yeah, okay. Just you got this.
It was a fucking head fake pick 6. Awesome.
It was so good that he tipped to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say I sneakily enjoy Chad Pennington.
Yeah, I like Pennington too.
Having said that, the fact
really
that
his fault. They had no answer for the Patriots blitz, and they just blitzed. But it was a whole. Actually, I like this game. They were coming after the quarterback, which you kind of see nowadays, but you definitely didn't see a lot of back then.
I I think you did with this defense and like 0304, they could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Well, this is when they start doing that. When they have that 3-4 and they have extra linebackers and they can like play Willie defensive end / linebacker, and it makes it really hard to tell who's coming and where.
I think having
Rodney Harrison do that same thing as like being a hybrid safety linebacker.
Dude, his timing was so good. He would just be sprinting right at the line.
Oh my God, yeah.
The ball. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Pennington kind of got the short end of the stick here.
That's true.
He had like no time and like people in his face constantly. We've actually played decent, I felt like, for having 5 interceptions, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he ran for 2 touchdowns.
And this is his, they mentioned it in the game. I don't know if you noticed. They mentioned his wrist injury.
Yes.
And this is, he only been back for a couple of games. I mean, he'd been half a season or so at this point.
Yep.
And it's because they played him in the 4th preseason game.
And he broke his hand, wasn't it? On like a handoff or something?
Yeah, a handoff, some freak accident. Like
he broke
breaking his arm on a field goal block.
Yeah, it was that sort of freak, ridiculous thing. Yeah. The one thing I was not a huge fan of was the way that they compared. They said that Chad Pennington was the best play action quarterback and had the best play fake outside of anybody except for Peyton Manning. And those two are like God's gift of the play action.
When Greg found out his name is Chadwick, that's what he found out was like his thing. He was an awesome play faker, and then when he broke his wrist on the handoff, he couldn't do it as well anymore.
He was
like, that was his whole game.
He was doing it in this game though.
Yeah,
he had that. He was ballsy with it too. He would he would do what you see Brady doing now, where he'd hand it off and just like stand with his back to the defense, as if like the play's over, and then he would turn and then he would have the Patriot defender right in his face. Because
well, also they have Curtis, my favorite Martin.
That's true, yeah.
Who hit his 9th straight 1,000-yard season in this game.
Yeah. And he's only back since Barry Sanders.
Yes.
To start his career with 9 1,000-yard seasons. Barry Sanders only had 10.
It's incredible.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I think Martin gets hurt maybe next year or soon.
I think he
also sort of peaked Curtis Martin.
I think, doesn't he lead the league? I thought he led the league in rushing yards the following year.
He gets like hurt and then he comes back. I don't know. When I forgave him, that episode, I remember learning a lot and then immediately forgetting it, obviously.
I have to say, watching him now that after you've forgiven him is harder than watching him before when I just like, yeah, fuck it. It's the Jets. I hate the Jets. I hate Curtis Martin.
No.
But now I'll be like, I hate the Jets, but Curtis Martin's cool, but I still want him to win.
Overcome my hatred for the Jets. When I see him, I'm rooting for Curtis Martin.
Yeah, I understand what you say, but it like the emotions are much more complex now than they used to be. It's just it's no longer a straight fuck the Jets. It's fuck the Jets. Jack Pennington's all right, and Curtis Martin's cool, I guess, but still fuck the Jets. Like that's hard to do all at once.
I think honestly, them two and Darrelle Revis are the only players that'll ever be like, yeah, okay, never mind. Like there's 3 because Revis came here and won Super Bowl, and I know that really
and then took a shit ton of money to go back.
I know that hurts Jets fans so deep down inside. So when he's doing well as a Jet, I know that it's going to lead to him really kicking him right in the fucking dick. Just like he went to the Patriots for 1 year and won a Super Bowl, then we gave him a big ass contract and he didn't live up to it. Like what the fuck?
Sounds like that worked out great for the Pats.
Oh yeah, it really did.
It really did. Yeah.
I still also have a soft spot for Mo Lewis. Even though I still love Drew Bledsoe, but it wasn't for him.
I don't know. I've never been a Mo guy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though. What about Brian Cox, Steve? He was a Jet for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I like him, but he wasn't as big a name as those other guys that I've sort of hit on.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't like
Herm Edwards. You a Herm Edwards guy?
I have no real feelings towards Herm Edwards. I don't know. He's just kind of existing. He's a little hilarious on his press conferences. He's not like a great coach. So like, whatever.
Yeah, he's one of those like Ned Flanders kind of coaches, Yeah. He's always upbeat. And they showed a little thing at the beginning of this. He's like, it was like pregame and he's talking to whoever was mic'd up. It was the center, Kevin Mawai. And he's like, he's like literally giddy before the game. He's like, I can't wait to beat these guys. It's like, bro, you're 6-8. You're already out of the playoffs, and you haven't beaten the Patriots in a while, like basically since Brady showed up. So, fucking take it down a notch.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that type of coach. I'm a Belichick stan.
Every coach's got their maybe he doesn't. You respond to other people might. Stop shitting on him.
No. This is my podcast. I can do what the fuck I want. This isn't the Herm Edwards podcast, is it?
Speaking of shitting on people, did you see that Cal Ripken cameo in this?
Oh.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Dude, they were pushing the whole 200th game like real hard.
And like, I guess one commentator had been there all 200 games, and I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, the Firestone guy.
Yeah, who the heck is that?
I had no idea who he was.
No, he was the original. I don't think he was. It was him and
some dude. They gave one of the commentators, like Cal's, like, "Hey, you've done 200 games. I did fucking 3,000. Suck it." And he did a bunch of math on the whiteboard. They gave it to him.
Yeah, it was Paul McGuire.
What was the commentator's name that they gave? Like, "Hey, congrats on 200 straight games."
That's Paul McGuire.
Yeah, and like, no? So forget. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he's like the voice of ESPN football, but okay.
He's forgettable.
Well, he's supposed to be. He's the play-by-play guy.
God, is not a fan.
But yeah, they had the other guy on who I guess was the original color commentator guy, and he was brutal.
Yeah,
this felt like a company guy on to just
a lot of it was forced down. And actually, this is a good point, a good place to get to my request.
Oh,
because there was a David Givens touchdown in this game where he runs the in and out apparently, and you can't see it on the broadcast. And I was like, oh, maybe they'll show a replay because, obviously a Tom Brady touchdown pass. Of course you show a replay of a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And they're trying so hard to fit so much fucking 200 content in. They immediately cut the commercial.
It's so true.
And I was like, come on, where's my replay?
Nope.
Is it out there? Does it exist?
Nope.
Was all 22 tape back then?
No, I think that starts in 2009.
Oh, brutal.
At least it's available to the public on NFL Game Pass. So
we'll never see that touchdown pass.
Not unless the pages themselves release their own all 22, which they probably have because they probably have it.
Is it on the website?
The touchdown? Yeah, the touchdown will be. And when this airs, the rest of the highlights will be too.
Oh, it's like weirdly not showing on the site.
Okay. Right. Cool. We'll just throw the site on the bus right now.
I'm watching it right now.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, you can't even see. You can't see the thumbnail of the video. You can't see the pattern by David Givens. It's bullshit. And this is the second touchdown. Givens is balling out in this game.
He did have a fantastic game.
He did. It helped that they didn't really cover him much. The Jets defense.
I thought the Jets did okay. The Pats had some like jugular plays, like the immediate interception on the first play of the game. The next play was a 35-yard bomb to Givens.
Yeah.
And like anybody
where he was uncovered.
Like as soon as a turnover, watch the shot to the jugular.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially if you're in their half of the field. Yeah, that was very familiar. To the point where you like when you were watching games last few seasons, you could call it when it happened. Like, all right, it's turnover and you're in their territory. First play is a deep shot. Every time. That still worked half the time. And
then his also special teams tackle was we scored a touchdown and they had a big return out to the 40. He was about to break it. He got the edge on him and he was about to turn upfield and just like it would be him versus the kicker and Givens caught him from behind.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Givens.
Yep. I was like, Givens is making special team. He must have come all the way across the field and caught him on the gunner side.
You know who did make a special teams tackle in this? The first time I've heard his name, Tully Banta-Cain.
Oh, yeah, there was a TBC sighting right early. Now, I'd heard
you guys talked about him before on the podcast. Didn't you, one of you guys
it was the Miami game, the overtime one, I think.
Yeah, Greg and Kelly met him at like a house party, and that was when Kelly did the credit card to him, sliding her hands through his butt crack on the dance floor.
I do recall that from one of the episodes now.
So yeah, I think we know people who know him. So now that he's officially on the team, we'll see if we can.
He's shown up earlier. He played earlier this season against the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure. This is not our first TBC sighting.
Well, I'm assuming it's not. Otherwise, the fact that we talked about him wouldn't have happened.
Yes, you're right.
But now that he's like officially, at this point on the team, we'll see if we can get a hold of him and get him on the pod and see what he thinks of the credit card. Ask those hard questions. Oh man. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Any other highlights from this game?
The Law interception was a particular highlight for me.
Ty Law in general in this game was a highlight.
Yeah, I know. Greg should watch this game because this is an excellent Ty Law game because he's clearly fucked up. Dude is everywhere he's walking, he's limping. Yeah. And then when the play is going, he's sprinting. And then when the play is done, he's limping. And
he's been doing that the entire season.
It's been going on for weeks, and it's especially pronounced in this game. And I actually saw this coming because they ran like a sweep to Ty Law's side, and he makes a tackle on Curtis Martin.
Yes.
And then they immediately run the fake because they know third down blitz is coming. Yep. So they go one-on-one Ty Law, throw the deep shot into the end zone. Ty's coverage is absolutely perfect. Runs the route for the receiver, kind of bumps out of bounds a little bit, makes the interception in the corner of the end zone, turnover. That was like
and this is the second time they've tried to do that to him. And the first time he did the exact same thing, but didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, he was awesome in this game.
Yeah. But he's been limping this entire season, including even all the way back in the Titans game where he had the game sealing pick 6 where he caught it and then sprinted like 60 yards. And then the last 10 yards, he limped into the end zone when he knew he wasn't going to get caught. Like, he's just one of those guys. He's, I feel like it's kind of similar to the way that Belichick would talk about Lawrence Taylor, where he knew when to turn it on. So he wasn't always going 100% all the time, but he knew when he needed to turn on the jets to make it actually happen.
Speaking of, players showing up when hurt, did you guys see the Lawrence Taylor, like when they were doing the whole ESPN 200 with like the torn labrum?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Detached pec, and he had 3 sacks. Like fucking ridiculous. Like I'd be done. I'd be laying down watching the game. And he's
God. I'd be telling my wife to shoot me. Like just fucking end my life right now. I will never recover.
You can just tell any random person. We're all game.
Hey, listen, fuck you. But she's closest.
Yeah.
She has the most reason.
This is why I carry a gun on me. Just whoever's closest.
If I ever tear my pec off my fucking bone, you can just use this. But he finished the game with fucking 3 sacks. Oh my God.
The pick 6 they showed him on the highlight of the 200. It's very similar to the Willie and the Teddy pick 6s.
It did
against the Patriots. It was the first ever ESPN game.
Yeah, the
pick 6.
I was just gonna say the first ever game was just a regular interception by him, but it was I wrote it down somewhere. He
definitely seals the game with the interception because he runs right out of bounds and is just like fucking flipping out like he just won the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first game was 1987, Pats versus Giants, and it was the highlight they show was Steve Grogan getting picked off by Lawrence Taylor, and guess who was the defensive coordinator for those Giants?
Yeah, it's got to be BB. It's got to be early Bill Belichick too.
Yeah. This was like one of his first years as a defensive coordinator. So he was coaching the first ever and the 200th ESPN NFL game.
Wow, that's a good stat, Andy.
Right? Surprised they didn't show that.
And he's probably coached like the 300th and the 400th as well.
That's probably true. Yeah.
We're still in 2003 here, buddy.
Still fucking going.
Right.
My goodness.
I did actually really enjoy all those like clips. There was a lot of great ones, like Steve Largent laying out.
That thing was legit. That Steve Largent hit, incredible.
Yeah.
Clean,
and then forcing the fumble and then recovering it himself on the interception.
That was the best part. It was a perfectly. The guy was a runner, just didn't see him, and it was kind of like a blindside block, but he didn't hit him with his head. Got him shoulder right in the gut, popped the ball out, and then laid.
And I think they mentioned that like that guy had laid Steve Largent out earlier in the game too.
Oh, had he?
So it was retribution, which is even better.
Other tidbits was Sean Alexander had his high school number retired while he's still in high school.
That was amazing.
The Barry Sanders 200-yard game in a half against the Buccaneers.
Ran for 200 yards in the second half against the Bucs.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. That's so Barry Sanders.
So that's why this game was very watchable, though, because it wasn't just Patriots Jets in week 17. It was like a bunch of shit in it, and there was like a ton of like blasts from the past highlights. So if you are going to watch one game, this one's actually a pretty good one to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought they missed on was they mic'd up Kevin Mawai, the center, because before the game, Ted Washington, who, remember, broke his leg the last time these two teams played, apparently called out Mawai to say that like Mawai did it on purpose and it was a dirty hit and he broke his leg on purpose. And so they're like, oh, we're going to mic up Mawai and like see if there's any beef. And then like right at the beginning, Mawai goes over to him like before the game even starts or like the first drive or something. It's like, yeah, I know what people are saying. I just want you to know that like I didn't do it on purpose. And then they like dap hands and that was it. Well, and that was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah. There goes that angle for the game.
Yeah. But then they showed like they went back to it one other time just to show like how much Mawai like talks during like while he's lining up the play and everything. And he's literally talking the entire time to the point where I don't know how he can even hear the snap. Like he's just yelling the entire time. Like that's gotta be super distracting.
Plus, if like Pennington is also making adjustments or audibles, like how are they not like talking over each other? And
I don't get it. He's just yelling the entire time.
Okay, Andy. Quick question. Was the best mic'd up moment of all time also on ESPN?
I don't know. You tell me.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Also a Patriots Jets game.
Oh, I think that was. I'm assuming you're talking about the seeing ghosts moment.
Yes.
Yes. And I have to say that was ESPN.
Sweet. We're delivering. I want to kiss you, Susie. We're delivering seeing ghosts. We're fucking must watch ESPN TV.
Yeah. If Patriots and Jets are playing on ESPN, you should probably tune in.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't do the butt fumble game. That would have been legit.
Oh.
Well, prime time.
Jets have had so many embarrassments.
It's still prime time. You're right. Yeah. So prime time.
This is an embarrassing game for the Jets, not just because they lost, but also their franchise icon is out there just being real.
Getting real handsy.
Oh, dude, what are you? Oh, you can't. Oh, you're wearing a Jets jersey too.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Literally saying I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
I showed that clip to my girlfriend and she was like more upset that he's like, he played for them? And she's like, why would he say he doesn't care about them struggling?
Right. Because he's drunk and he wants Susie Colbert. He didn't give a shit about anything in life at that point.
Just shooting a shot.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, you got to do it, I guess.
All right. I have a fun Tom Brady fact.
All right.
That I learned in this game. I don't know if you picked up on it.
I may have.
From the commentators, actually. Yeah. And then, Andy, we can go into your grievances. I actually have a bunch as well.
Okay.
Tom Brady doesn't make the Pro Bowl this year.
That is correct. He doesn't. They showed the guys who did, where I think I took it. It was so Pro Bowl quarterbacks, the AFC selections, Peyton Manning, Steve McNair, Trent Green. Wasn't one of you giving me shit about Trent Green not being good?
Yeah, we were. We were telling you he's bad. He's not good.
So Pro Bowl quarterback Trent Green, awful.
Yeah, well, clearly this Pro Bowl is a mistake. How are you going to put Trent Green over Tom Brady, who wins the Super Bowl this year?
All right, let me give you quarterback A, quarterback B numbers.
I don't give a shit. Let's keep moving.
3,800 yards.
I don't care for your stats.
23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Stats.
He threw
numbers. I'm going by gut, buddy.
Trent Green threw
the owner
more
of a
yards,
9-game win streak. Tom Brady,
more touchdowns,
9-game win streak.
Less interceptions. Trent Green was undefeated up until week 10 in the NFC. Dummy.
Yeah, and then he loses a bunch.
You do.
Yeah. So, the Chiefs were undefeated up until a few weeks ago. Now they've lost like 2 or 3 in a row. So that's why the Patriots are alone in first place in the AFC right now, because the Chiefs just.
I believe they had already lost this week when we were playing this game. So even if we had lost, we still would have been in first place.
Yeah, exactly. But as we know, because this is a history podcast, the Patriots don't do a whole lot of losing in this time frame.
It has been awesome turning every single game on and knowing you're going to win.
Yeah, it's made this podcast a whole lot easier. The one thing that I found interesting though about this win streak that they talked about in this game too was that the Patriots are the first team in the NFL history to win 10 straight games by 14 or fewer points. And that would be 11 after this because they won this, which we should have said at the beginning, 21-16. So another squeaker of a game, but then it's true. They haven't blown anybody out.
We fix that next week.
Well, okay, that's true.
Sorry, maybe I'm stepping on your toe, Steve. I'll let you go.
Good. This was the franchise record win total. And everyone will be because the Jaguars was the new franchise record in wins.
Really?
Which is crazy to think about. That Jags win was the most they'd ever won in a season in the history of the franchise.
So they'd never been better than 11-5.
Correct.
Wow.
Until they beat the Jaguars.
And that was their 12th win, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And there's still more to come. Clearly, we got 16-0. Oh, shit. But 11, that's what people like. I guess, you look at this era, but before that, they didn't even won 11 games in a year.
Right.
Imagine that? And everyone here is freaking out, like, oh my God, we didn't make the playoffs. Cam Newton can't throw a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to the first 40 years of franchise, buddy.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, Andy. You can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, too, another interesting stat from this game was that they did not have a 100-yard rusher the entire season until this game.
Yes.
So
that's surprising when you watch them all, but it is. Yeah.
It's cool. It's just like, Jesus, what was it, 16 now? Oh, my God.
Yeah, but the announcers were such douchebags about it, too.
They were.
Oh, there's their 100-yard rusher. Like, fuck you, buddy. Smith is actually doing good. We should all be celebrating this. What happened?
I wrote down Antoine Smith is running like it's 2001 again.
What was his stat line? Because he had an 8.6 yard per carry at some point.
Yeah, he was through the first half. I think he had 10 carries for 86 yards, and he finished with 18 carries for 121, which is 6.5 yards per carry.
That's awesome.
It's great.
He was playing pretty well. He was I think they figured it out. They used him at the very beginning of halves, and he's pretty good.
Also,
back half the halves, he's too tired and he sucks.
Also, having him run against the 31st ranked run defense, also helps.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Factor.
Yeah. So, but hey, he looked good. He looked like the Antoine Smith of old, which was hard to do.
Does he keep it going throughout? I might be, sort of spoiling, but does he keep it going throughout the rest of the season into the postseason?
I don't know. I can't remember, but I would think not. There's nothing to say that he does. There's absolutely no evidence.
I have no
any good
memories of the 2003 season of Antoine Smith
being
at all, good or bad. I just can't think of any Antoine Smith players off the top of my head in these playoffs. So my guess is probably not.
Yeah.
They were shitting on the Patriots in the red zone because we do have a bad red zone offense, saying they can't run the ball because Antoine's on his way to a 100-yard game. They can't run the ball. And the only other worse offense in the league is the Panthers by a fraction of a point. And I was well, two fucking teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, they said the Patriots were 30th in red zone touchdowns. And I think the Giants were worse than them, but the worst in the league were the Carolina Panthers. And of those three teams, two of them will make the playoffs, and one of them will be the Giants.
Wait, don't the Panthers play us this year?
Yeah, so they'll make the Super Bowl, not the playoffs.
There you go.
Fucking stepped on that one, didn't I? Oh, well.
Yep. Let's go. That's got to be a statistical anomaly where two of the worst red zone, because it generally correlates where the better you are in the red zone, the better record you are.
It's true.
And this is like the bottom half of the bottom of the league in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I wonder if...
And that Super Bowl was like a high-scoring affair. It's like 30s.
In the second half. I wonder if red zone defense plays a part in that too, though. Because the Patriots have one of the best red zone defenses in the league.
I think the Panthers also had one of the best red zone defenses too that year.
Yeah, they had a great defensive line, if I recall. And we'll find out soon, but...
Right.
We'll find out.
I will say it was great to see Troy Brown back. I've been missing him this season. And he didn't do a lot, but, every time Brady drops back to pass and it's third down, where this ball's going. And it works every time. Troy Brown, first down. Done.
He's reliable.
a classic where he just gets every single fucking yard possible, even if there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh yeah, those punt returns that take 20 minutes for him to gain 3 yards. Love it. They're my favorite. Let's see. Bethel Johnson, another great name. He's out of the doghouse. Apparently he didn't play last week, not due to injury, but because he didn't prep for the game well enough. So he said, "Nah, fuck it, you're sitting," which I didn't realize. Yeah. But as soon as they put him back in, I think they started almost every drive at their own 40-yard line.
Well, they started pooch kicking to him.
Yeah, they stopped kicking it to him at all.
Yeah,
which is a wise decision. And the commentators even brought up the fact because there was 1 second left in the half, and the Jets had just kicked a field goal. 6 seconds left, and the Jets had just kicked a field goal. And they're like, "Well, the Colts know what to do here, know what not to do here, because fucking they kicked it off to Bethel Johnson, who then just promptly returned it for a touchdown, beating Mike Vanderjagt, the noted athlete and not just a kicker."
Yeah.
Fucking Vanderjagt. Oh, man. And there was also one other story that they didn't really touch on. I thought they would, because this plays a part down the road. And I found it in this book that I actually got for free. But Steve knows about this book. It's a book by Bob Hildberg. And it's called Relive Patriots History. And I'm pretty sure it's self-published, but this book is the nerdiest thing I've ever owned. And this is coming from the guy who puts together the website.
Yeah.
But this is literally just like, I'm showing you guys on the screen right now, of just like Patriots trivia.
Someone took a bunch of stats and put them in a book. That's all
basically, but they're just like, they're all organized in different things. So it's like every Patriots running back who has thrown a halfback option touchdown pass in a game, and then lists them. So
it's just
Dave Meggett threw a 35-yard touchdown pass to Troy Brown in their 27-24 win over the Dolphins on 11-23-97. This whole book,
before they had highlights that they could rip by gifts, they just fucking made books.
Yeah,
this Andy.
Like this is the book version of what I've done for the website.
It is, and it's stupid.
So I just want to shout out Bob Hildberg and this book. If you can find it on Amazon, it's out there.
I might have to buy.
That
sounds right up my alley.
It's amazing.
It's like a textbook size book.
Yeah, but
when's it last updated? Is a real question.
It gets updated regularly. I believe.
Okay, so he's consistently putting new season stats in here.
Yeah, it's 2020.
All right. One of the stats in there is wide receivers that have thrown touchdown passes for the Patriots, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
And in this game is a somewhat famous play. Did you pick this up?
Infamous, maybe?
Yeah, infamous, sure. I mean, it comes up many, many years later as infamous.
Talk to me.
Yeah, Tarek, tell it.
Well, everybody remembers from like the Baltimore Ravens playoff game, the Edelman pass to Amendola. And if you watch the 3 games to glory, like I'm sure you guys all have as well.
Oh, yes.
They talked about how for years they wouldn't have anybody but Tom Brady throw a pass.
Yep.
And the play that they bring back, and the reason for that is this very play that we're talking about, where I don't remember who was it. David Givens who throws the ball.
It was.
He was having a great game. I get the call. It was a good throw. Yeah. We're just all over it.
So end around to David Givens, who spots what he thinks is a wide open Deion Branch streaking down the right side of the field.
Yep.
And he launches a pass, which turns out to be actually in double coverage. And gets easily picked off. Yeah. Underthrows it by about 5 yards.
I am biased, but yeah, it was
not great.
Not a great throw. Not a great decision.
Yeah, and they were on their side of the field too, right? Like they were.
Well, it was like just after a turnover.
It was their same. Like the deep shot they hit to Givens, they're like, okay, let's get another Givens touchdown. Let's go for the jugular again with the fucking fake pass. And I get the logic, but Belichick clearly was like, why the fuck is anybody but Tom Brady throwing the fuck?
Yeah, it was right after Rodney Harrison picked off Chad Pennington.
Yeah, one of his 5 INTs. Yeah. We had turnovers to throw away, so who cares? Might as well try.
And this was in the fourth quarter. just after Pennington had his second touchdown run to start the quarter. So it's 21-16 at this point. So it's a close game.
For 5 interceptions from Pennington, the score was actually pretty close. And it was like close throughout the game. That's why I think it was also watchable. It wasn't like an absolute blowout either.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Jets do Jets things like call a timeout after an incomplete pass with less than a minute left.
Their last timeout. Yeah.
Yes.
They had one timeout left, 50 seconds. Incomplete pass. Okay.
Oh, shit. We don't know what to do next.
What?
This is going too well. We need to stop and talk about it. Let's burn our last time out. That'll fix it.
That was absolutely brutal. Any chance of them coming back basically got screwed.
And they win a touchdown. If they score there, they win.
Yeah.
But he throws another interception. That's it. Game over. 5. Who did that last one? I don't even remember it.
I believe it was Eugene Wilson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Who's been balling out this year?
Another Greg favorite, right? If I recall.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Rookie Eugene Wilson. And he's been teasing a game that I don't know about. I don't remember. I don't know what game he's talking about. But like there's one game that's like the Eugene Wilson game. And we've yet to see it. And I hope he's actually on for it.
Yeah, he's not going to remember it either. Oh, I missed it.
Oh, wait, that was the Eugene Wilson game. We should go back and do it again. But yeah, back to my book here. The reason I bring this up.
We're going back to the book.
Yeah, well, I brought up. I wasn't just showing you a book because I know how to read. You fucking.
I'm assuming you're just be like, "Hey guys, this is a great book. I love stats." Hey, go on though.
Well, yes, but also,
what stat did you get out of the book, Andy? Come on, lay it on us.
So there's a story here about.
There's a story in this book. I thought it was just
named
stats.
Brian Kinshin, a long snapper who started in this game because of the injuries to the Patriots starting and backup long snappers. So they didn't have any. And so I'm going to read from the book here. In December of 2003, Brian Kinshin was teaching a Bible class for 7th grade students at Parkview Baptist School in Baton Rouge when he received a phone call from the New England Patriots. The long snapper, Sean McDermott.
What?
The Sean McDermott? Stat check that, Steve. And Lonnie Paxton were both injured, and they needed someone to be their long snapper for the last 2 games of the season in the playoffs. Even though Brian was 38 years old, he had 13 years experience as a long snapper in the NFL and spent 5 years with the Cleveland Browns when Bill Belichick was their head coach. Fucking crazy. That's not in the book. He had also worked with the Patriots holder Ken Walter in Carolina. It had been 3 years since Brian had played in the NFL, but he was encouraged when one of his students exclaimed, "The Patriots, 12-2, the best team in football, and they're going to win the Super Bowl." Brian made the team and practiced like crazy, snapping footballs while in full uniform, hundreds of times into a pillow in his hotel room. As much as he practiced, he still made a few bad snaps in some of the Patriot playoff games, which we'll come across later. To make matters even more tense, and this is where it gets ridiculous, he cut his thumb with a steak knife, requiring 3 stitches at the Patriots pregame dinner the night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's save this, Andy. Let's save this for the Super Bowl, because this is what I've been talking about. We saw Lonnie Paxton get hurt.
Yeah,
and I am looking up the Sean McDermott. I don't think it's the same.
Okay,
it's just a coincidence.
Just the same name sort of thing.
Tampa, Houston, New England. That's it in like 2003. They're probably different places. I don't think it's the same one.
All right. I can look it up in this book if you want.
Yeah.
It has every single player that ever played for the Patriots.
Every single player?
By name, yeah.
You buy this book every year?
I think you could.
Do you?
This is my first one, and I got it because
You've had it, right?
For like a month. I got it around Christmas time. A couple months.
Yeah, I thought you had this a while ago, though.
No, this is new. I won it from him on a Twitter thing. I answered some question correctly. Trivia. Huh.
We had trivia for this episode. Where's Greg? No.
Sean McDermott the only game he played was the last game for the Patriots. That was it.
I got that ring though, so
he did.
Told him to do it. Was right.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I wonder if the Barnyard Dog's got a ring.
Oh yeah, the punter, whatever the hell his name was.
He should have a ring. The Barnyard Dog.
Oh yeah,
Barnyard Dog.
But I don't know if I think he got cut, so he wasn't on the team anymore.
Yeah, but they usually give rings to anybody who played on the team.
Terry Glenn would disagree, but maybe.
Yeah, my friend's girlfriend works for the Caps. She got a ring. Erickson, like,
yeah, but the Caps, they only get one ring every like 400 years.
It was kind of sweet. They flew everybody to Vegas when they were playing in Vegas in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
For the entire company, they did half each day.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that
is amazing. Like having an awesome time in Vegas at the Stanley Cup Finals, and then they won and they got a fucking ring. Everyone got a ring. It sounded awesome.
What were we talking about?
Let's do best and worst.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. We're falling apart here. All right. Steve, you want to go first?
I'm going to do something a little different. Let me do my worst first and then my best last.
As in like
you guys all do your best worst and then I'll
okay. All right. Do your worst first.
With the worst and I'll bring us home with the best.
Give me a worst.
Worst of the commentators. It was for how watchable this game was. The fact that these fucking idiots were on there is the worst.
I didn't mind them. Just to throw a wrench
in the game. They're like, "Oh, Ty Law's hurt." Dude's been hurt for weeks.
Yeah, he's been hurt all season, but okay.
Real?
Thanks for noticing.
Limping everywhere. They called Tom Brady the Iceman. Thank God that didn't fucking stick.
Yeah, that's not a good one. That's not a good one.
Tom the Iceman Brady. You don't like that?
Yeah. Brady's getting dragged down in the pocket. Just clear, intentional grounding. I think probably communication. Their Stevie thought he was going to go deep. He brought it short and threw it deep. Definitely a clear. What a smart player. What? Is everything this, or what? And then it's like, gee, they called it. they threw a flag there.
Yeah, they thought these quarterbacks were the best quarterbacks to ever play the position of the game. But they're like that. These guys are always like that, though.
And then my biggest fucking beef.
Here we go.
They called Pepper Johnson fat.
No,
they couldn't do push-ups. They insinuated he couldn't do push-ups because they had the Willie McGinnis INT where he tips it to himself, catches it, and instead of being like, wow, what great ball skills. They're like, oh, here's a drill he does. He whips the ball at them.
That's a great story.
He has to do push-ups, and he can't do many push-ups. Look how big he is. Look how fat he is.
Yeah, I don't think they understood the story. Because one guy told the other one's like, yeah, he obviously doesn't do very many push-ups. Like, no, I think he does a lot.
Pepper Johnson.
Because
Pepper Johnson push-up you for days.
He's jacked out of his mind. Yeah. That was pretty good one. Counterpoint, though. At the beginning of the game, they said Ted Washington weighs at least a pound for every day of the year. Which I thought was a great way of putting it. Ted Johnson, 365. They're like, what about the leap year? He was like, I bet he'll gain a pound.
That is nice.
Beautiful.
But that's it. They sucked.
They did also say we're going to see Michael Vick for a long, long time in one of his highlights. So that didn't age well. Age like milk.
You can't fault him on that, though.
I mean, no, but I'm going to because I'm from the future. All right, Tarek, what you got?
Well, I guess I'll go with one of my best. I know you were just kind of, and you had a lot of fair points, Steve, about, you're right with the announcers, but I did love that Joe Theismann was talking about the impact of having home field in New England and how big of an advantage that would be for the Patriots. And then obviously in the next two games, playoff games, that actually ends up happening. So I thought that was kind of neat. Obviously having the, retrospect to my advantage there, but so that was probably one of my best. And then my worst was watching these two punters ever. Like, these guys suck. Like, they're
I thought they were actually punters in the league.
Well, the worst punters in the league, both of them. Like, the only punter worse than Ken Walter was whoever the fuck the Jets had, and he outpunted Ken Walter in this game.
Right.
Oh.
It was.
I don't know. The Ken Walter actually didn't play that bad.
Ken Walter
had a couple lucky bounces. He dropped a couple inside the 20. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how well he punted. I was like, okay, well, it's not the worst.
If you punt from the 50 and you go 30 yards every time, you're going to end up with some good runs.
Yes, the Patriots did punt from their own 35-yard line.
No, from the Jets 35.
From the Jets 35, yes.
They did. But he didn't punt in the end zone.
Yeah, that's where I was fully expecting that to go out the back of the end zone.
I think,
wow.
I think Ken Walter at this point of the season has mastered the squib punt, which I may have just made up, but every single punt, the commentator's like, "Oh, it's a low line drive," and the returner, he's going to let it bounce, and it dribbles its way for like another 15, 20 yards, and somehow manages to get inside the 20-yard line every fucking time. And he's at this point, he's like, you know what? I'm not kicking for distance. We're just not going to return it. I'm just going to fucking dribble it down the field, and hopefully it takes my bounce and not, because if it takes a Jets bounce, they get the ball on the 50. But if it takes a Patriots bounce, it's inside the 20. He's just bad. I can't.
He's definitely my least favorite Patriot from this Dynasty era.
Yeah.
Ken Walker, 1,000%.
No, Larry Centers.
Ooh.
Larry Centers is my least favorite. Ever since I saw him throw that dirty hit, I'm out on him.
I don't remember the dirty hit, but okay.
He had a dirty hit, and then they cut him the next week.
And now he's back.
Got him back now.
Dropping passes.
Yeah, and he's dropping passes. He just fuck him.
All right. Let's see. What do I have left? I would say they talked about Tom Brady as a starter. At this point in his career, I'm assuming not including this game, he's 32-12 as a starter. A third of those wins were comebacks, which that early on in his career seems like a lot.
Yeah,
I was surprised it was that many.
He's showing what he's about,
Yeah. Let's see. Talked about that. The Patriots. They showed a season recap for them. Like you said, they're fucking ridiculous numbers. Their 12 wins was a franchise record, like you said. They're 7-0 so far this season against teams with a winning record, which ties the NFL record set by the 1969 Vikings. I'm assuming the Bills next week are not a team with a winning record.
No, I don't think so. I think they're out.
And their 42 starters is the most by any division champion since 1970. Which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the injuries that they were able to just overcome this year, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
No.
At least in my time of watching sports.
Yeah, it's not supposed to happen. I remember they showed a stat earlier on in the season where like the teams that led the league in starters, like different starters, and it was usually in the 40s. I think the best record was like the 2000 or the 1990 something Patriots at 6-8, and every other team was like 3 or 4 wins on the season, and the Patriots haven't lost in 11 weeks now. This team shouldn't be able to do this. Like all the numbers say like this shouldn't be happening, and yet they're winning every game close with whoever the fuck they have available that week.
Right.
So if Greg were here, I'd tell him to eat a dick, because that's Belichick. That's coaching, baby. That's genius is what that is.
It's great GM and great coaching.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. And finding you a man who can do both.
And my worst is just the Jets in general. As a defense, they have 9 interceptions on the season.
Yes.
As an entire team.
Yeah.
Not great. I think Tyrone Poole.
Their D-line was pretty good.
I think Tyrone Poole might have about that many on this season, because he's the team leader, and I think he has about 9.
Tyler is one shy of the Patriots record after his interception tonight.
Yes, he is. Yeah, behind
Michael Haynes.
I think it was Haynes. Yeah.
Yes. It is, and he only ties it.
Damn.
Yeah, he only gets one more pick his entire Patriots career.
That's surprising. They just stopped throwing to him, I guess.
Yes, yeah. Why the fuck would you? Yeah. They ran a fucking stretch play at him and then threw him deep. And
and that tackle on Curtis Martin too, where they threw it to him in the flat and he just like cleaned him out.
As the first half was lining down, they were like inside the 10. That's what they wanted. Curtis Martin on Ty Law, who's hurt. Yeah. Curtis should be able to break that and go all the way. Ty Law
did not happen. Yeah.
Perfect.
And the Jets last week, their big win was beating the Steelers 6-0 the week before this.
Like
this, I mean, I like a good defensive battle as much as the next guy, but there have been a lot of low-scoring shutouts in this 2003 season. Like I can understand why football has opened up more now, because I think the casual fan's going to enjoy a 38-35 game more than a 6-0 game.
Yeah, that's true. They said offense sells tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Asses in seats, whatever.
Yeah. So, Steve, what's your best?
I still have so many left. That was my whole thing. I was like, I have so many bets. Again, I really enjoyed watching this game.
All right.
There was a quote from Rodney Harrison about coming to the Patriots his first year. You don't hope to win, you expect to win here. Love that. But
that's a Rodney thing.
There was the Troy Brown play where they threw the ball to Deion Branch. Tom Brady was trying to put it behind Deion, and Troy thought it was to him.
Yeah.
Went up and absolutely, might be his best catch of his career.
Fucking snagged that thing, yeah.
I learned that Damien Woody made Pro Bowl as a center. I always thought of him as a guard.
He, in the first couple of years,
it's his only ever Pro Bowl. No. He makes it as guard when he plays for the Jets in 2005.
He would play center, but remember Mike Compton with the visor? If Brady was in a shotgun, they would switch.
Oh, yeah.
So Mike Compton would, because Damien Woody as a center couldn't do shotgun snaps, which seems limiting. I think that's why they got rid of him eventually.
I think that was his only. They switched him to guard next year, and then after that he leaves and plays guard for the rest of his career.
Yeah,
but I'd always thought of him as a guard. Like Dan Copen is the rookie this year, and you always I just sort of assumed Dan Copen had always been there. You know,
I know, right?
You'd ask like, who was the center in the 2001 season? Everyone's like, the guy with the visor, but it was like a
Big Wood
platoon center.
Yeah. Yeah. When have you ever heard of a team doing platooning a center?
Yeah.
Or swapping centers during a drive?
That might be the only one I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, we know it's shotgun because it's a different center.
Right, exactly.
Guess they're passing. The best though was the video quality was much improved for this game.
Okay.
Eric, I don't know if you've watched any of the other games end to end.
I haven't. No.
Yeah. The quality in this one was significantly better.
It was better. Even like the last couple, because they've been in the snow, they've been borderline unwatchable because you can't see what's going on.
Recorded on VCR too, so then digital, and you lose a ton of. It's just some of them harder to see, but like the quality was way improved. They had the sky cam, they had a bunch of sweet things like that. The red, this is where they debuted the red line of scrimmage on third down.
Yes,
which I like the shading. The shading is actually really good. Oh, I love the shading on the current now.
It's too much.
No, it's not.
The
red line of scrimmage was too much, and then they put it out on second down. After the announcers announced it on second down, they're like, "Whoa, people were putting the line of scrimmage as red on third down. Why are you saying that on second down? And then why are you putting the line on second down? Now you're just confusing people because everyone's like, what down is it? Is it third down or second down?"
I always think of the red line as like the goal to get like for field goal range, right?
Yeah.
Well, they got rid of it pretty quick.
But at some point, like also some broadcasts would do like the yellow line was the first down line unless it was fourth down, and then the first down line would be red.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So it's super confusing. Fucking standardize it. But yeah, I mean, so Steve, were you a fan of if you like the third down shading, are you a big fan of the Nickelodeon broadcast that they did too?
I haven't seen it.
Oh well, maybe you should watch that because they fucking covered everything. SpongeBob was the goalpost. So they had to kick it through the SpongeBob.
Sweet. That I like shit. I think that's hilarious. I like that.
It actually wasn't too bad.
Field goal, like instead of a field goal, is a SpongeBob. You hit SpongeBob in the face, you get.
Yeah, you get 3 points.
I love that.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of those Nickelodeon games. Did they have like ooze or were they ever?
Yep.
What they call it?
Yeah, there was just one. It was the Saints Bears playoff game this year. It was simulcast on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. But there'll be more of those. I'm in on that for sure.
It was kind of cool. There was some cheese in it, but like the commentators were aimed towards kids too, so they're like explaining the rules of football and stuff.
Perfect.
Which which is great. I mean,
because not these stuff that sucked at it. So anybody who the fuck I just listened to.
So I mean, I will rant about this again because when I spent time in England, they have Sky Sports and they have multiple channels per game. And what you can select different versions of the game you watch. So one you can watch with like just the normal commentators and everything. And one you can watch with no commentation. So it's just the sounds of the game, which I think for football would be amazing.
I would do that 100%.
Right?
I don't know. I'd like to listen to I like Tony Romo.
And then the one that they didn't do it for every game, but it's usually for like rivalry games. They would get a fan from each team to commentate in the same booth together. And the booth was, the size of like the entire booth was the size like a queen size bed. So they had two guys sitting literally like next to each other, like touching. Each guy got a microphone and they would commentate the game together as fans. And every time one team would score, the other guy would just stand up, just scream in the other guy's face. It was amazing. And they just like rip on each other the entire time. It's perfect. I think it might work better for maybe baseball over here, but
Andy, if we do that,
we got people,
swearing up, getting shot. If we do that.
Hey,
dude brought a gun to the goddamn competition, shoots the other guy. Now you have a huge lawsuit in your hand. It's never.
Or you just put up some fucking metal detectors before you let him in the room. Problem solved.
No one's gonna agree to that. I ain't gonna go in unless I can bring my gun. Says every Cowboys fan.
Spoken like a true Southerner. Fucking Steve. So yeah, I think they should at least offer options so you can listen to it with or without the commentators.
And then you would have missed the fucking I just want to kiss you, Susie. Come on. You see, commentation really brings a lot. Imagine watching this game with just the sounds of the game. You've been like, well, that was a pretty good game, I guess. You missed the whole fucking cultural thing.
I'm sorry, you're talking to the guy that has a book full of fucking stats. Which game do you think I want to watch, Steve?
Yeah, is there a stat in there about how many times he said, I want to kiss you, Susie?
Nope.
Can we hear that again? Can we just like
you want that one more time?
Yeah,
all right, hang on.
Give me that because this is I don't know. It's give me start to end.
You want the whole thing? All
I want the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling. What we know is we can improve. Chad Pennington, our quarterback, missed the first part of the season, and we struggled. We're looking to next season. We're looking to make a noise now, and I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe. I'll take it as a huge compliment.
You know what?
Joe. Thanks, Joe. I'll take it as a huge compliment.
You know what?
Joe Namath, part of the
struggling. You.
Thanks, Joe. I'll take it as a huge compliment.
Yeah.
It's such a drunk yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've all done that.
Yeah, we have.
But also like true. And like I was thinking about this earlier and I meant to bring it up before, but like we've all woken up after a night of drinking and been like, oh man, what did I do? Yep. Imagine being Joe Namath and waking up the next morning and being like, I hope I didn't embarrass myself last night. I was pretty fucking drunk. And I think I was on TV. And then he turns on ESPN and SportsCenter is just like that on a loop. Like that's a bad day.
At least that happened in like 2003 and not today, where he'd be a meme like throughout the ages, like throughout basically every social media platform out there.
I mean, you say that, but we're still talking about it on the fucking podcast.
From the Post.
17
Joe
years.
Namath says drunken interview saved. That's some fucking regret. It made him stop drinking, probably. That you wake up, you're like, oh god, I gotta drink.
Yeah, I would stop drinking after that. That would do it for me. Oh my god.
I think I was trying to listen to it again to see what he was saying, like in that like little bit where you can't make it out, and it sounds like he's just jumbling over his words, saying like Ms. Chad Pennington. I mean,
yeah, he's all over the place. I just love the way it says struggling.
Yeah, struggling.
Yeah. I kind of want that as like my ringtone for when I get a text from my brothers. Struggling. All right. What do we have to look forward to next week, Steve?
The Bills game.
Yes.
This is the other people only remember 2 games in the season, the first and the last.
That's true.
The entire middle is like totally forgotten.
Yeah. Talk about a bookend to a season, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. It was like a storybook.
It is. Yeah. Like
unless you're a Bills fan, then it's some sort of like nightmare book. I don't know.
Hey, it's still a dream, right? If you were to like write a sitcom or something, if you were writing Friday Night Lights and you started off where the Patriots or like the Friday Night Lights team lost their first game 31-0 and then had to play that same team at the end of the season and they won 31-0, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of fucking gauche. Like, I can't believe you like couldn't come up with something a bit more creative. But like it's so like kind of bullshit Hollywood. And that's kind of how this Patriots dynasty just goes normally, you know? Like there's just so much storybook stuff like that over and over again that I can understand why people hate us. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like it just feels too perfect the way things turn out for the Patriots.
Oh yeah, I've never had a question about why people hate me. I have my background at work on my desktop is Tom Brady's assault-based freaking Super Bowl rings, and I keep saying, "Oh, it's out of date. It's missing 2." The whole picture. The other one is that I have 2, and they rotate. The other one is him as like that painting of Jesus, where he's holding the goat.
Oh yes,
like photoshopped his face in there.
Oh yeah,
long hair Brady. The long hair Brady is my favorite Brady.
Yeah.
First of all, and like it's him as Jesus holding a goat. Ha. No.
Nice. Well, he did that whole GQ thing, holding the goat.
That's true.
Was he foreshadowing? Did he know before everybody?
First season, it was 2001, right?
I don't remember when it was.
Pretty sure it was.
It was early. He got a lot of shit for that from his teammates, I believe. God damn.
Now it's the norm. All the wide receivers, all the quarterbacks do GQ covers now.
That's true. Yeah.
Even if you're Mark Sanchez.
Brady did. 01 Brady.
Yeah, he was such a goober back then too. I loved it.
Until he got his butt chin fixed.
Yeah. We're still looking at if we ever have him on, we'll ask those hard questions too. Like what happened to your butt chin? Or a hard hitting interview.
Giselle.
All right. All right. Tarek, did you have any questions for us? We've been asking you questions all night.
Good question, yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever gotten a chance to contact Troy Brown? Because I know that you guys have said like if Troy Brown knows about your podcast, then like this whole ordeal would have been worth it. So I'm just curious if you've ever been able to make contact with the one and only TB.
That's a great question. And no, not yet. But I don't know if I sent this to the boys in our chat, but the New England Patriots Twitter account just created a new Twitter account. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, you said they're encroaching on our turf.
They are encroaching on our turf because they just launched.
I didn't understand that. I don't know how Twitter works. You sent it to me. I looked at it. I said, I don't know what this means. And then
So they are.
Things you send me.
They created a Twitter account that is called Patriots Time Machine. So it's at Pat's Time Machine, where they are tweeting like it's 2001. So they're tweeting each day as if it was that day in 2001, as if they're reliving the dynasty in real time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which sounds familiar.
Wow.
And I think the guy who we had on...
Is he the one who started that?
I think he's involved with it.
No, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, so he may have stolen that from us. I don't know.
Did he also come out with an episode where he interviews Troy Brown?
So yeah, so he does the past from the past.
Wait, and we told him to tell Troy Brown.
Yeah.
So Troy Brown probably know if he follows through. Troy Brown knows because he did that. We told him about it. He does the pass from the pass to Troy. Right. He should have told Troy about it.
Steve Brown's like one of those.
I think we're as close as we ever been.
Steve Brown's like one of those conspiracy theorists. Like,
baby.
He's got all the got all the string connecting everything. He's like, I'm connected the dots. Troy Brown knows who I am.
Good.
We're gonna find out for sure if that's the case.
We need to hit him up and say, hey, great podcast about the Troy from the past. Did you tell him like we asked you so many times?
Yes. So I'm going to listen to the episode tomorrow, and I'm going to find out if we hear about it then. If not, I'm going to reach out to Brian himself and be like, yo, I didn't hear you mention us on your podcast. I was just wondering if it came up like afterwards. Yeah. And if not, can we get his cell phone number so we can have him on our fucking podcast?
Yeah, Troy Brown is a beast.
Yeah, Troy Brown hog. Yeah.
Right. Pinnacle.
So if you could hear anybody on the podcast, us interview like a player or a coach or someone, who would it be for you?
Troy Brown.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think most people. Yeah. I know most people probably say Brady, but
right.
For me, I would say Gronk. I just would really love to hear like Gronk on this podcast for whatever reason. I don't know. I think he'd be funny. I think it'd be great to watch or listen. So, yeah, I think it would be. I have to pick Gronk.
I like that. All right.
I already put some bad tape out there about Gronk, so I don't know how I feel about that.
That's cool. We'll just dig it up when we have him on, and you can explain yourself.
Yeah, I've done the change. I changed by 2-9 Curtis Martin.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. That is true. All right. Well, thanks to the both of you for being here. It was a pleasure. And
thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. This was so much fun. So thank you.
It's nice to find out that somebody other than our mother is listening to this podcast. So thank you.
But, appreciate mom is most important listener.
Well, something like that. But except she has to listen. So it means more when you don't and you choose to.
I'll be definitely listening to this episode. So.
I will warn you, it's weird to hear yourself talk.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm already like dreading the fact that I think my voice cracked a couple times. So
yeah, it doesn't matter. I'd say it gets easier, but I don't know what it does. I just don't listen to myself anymore.
Listen to it. I just put it out there and keep moving.
Yep.
I'm fucking.
It's the way to do it. All right. Well, until next week, we will see you later.
See you later.
See you later.